Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning or good afternoon. Even though I'm not here, we're still having class today. So first things first, you come in, you show your very best. You stand. Do not talk. Do not mess around. Right now, you're standing in front of the chairs. We're not going to sit in the chairs unless you're in the classroom, which is something different. But if you're in the music room, we're not sitting in the chairs today. Today, we're going to sit on the floor. When I say go, you're going to step to the right where there is no drum. You're going to stand right beside your chair and you're going to sit down on the floor with your notebooks in your hands. Okay, get ready, go. Step to the right, sit down, keep your notebooks in your hands. Okay, so we've been working on Listen to the Rain and our drip, drop, drip. If there's some time, we're going to do a little bit of that at the end of the class. But since we are here, I'm going to take this opportunity to work on something that every musician should know about. So it's going to be a little different today, but today we're going to look at the instruments in the orchestra. Everybody say orchestra. Good. Great. So I have a presentation for you. Your job is simple. Watch, sit, don't talk. There's going to be a time where I want you to write a few notes down, and that's okay. So let's begin. Here's our lesson objective. Everybody say class objective. Let's read it together. Start with students will. Ready? Go. Students will identify the instruments of the orchestra and each instrument family. I should put in the orchestra, each instrument family in the orchestra. Everybody say orchestra. You know what an orchestra is? Yeah, right. Well, first of all, here's some vocabulary words that you're going to need for this lesson. Say orchestra. An orchestra, which we'll put in our notebooks later. If you want to write this in your vocabulary section, you can right now, but you might not have time, but you can do your best. The orchestra is a performing group made of woodwinds, brass, string, and percussion instruments. So how many different instruments are there or instrument types are there in the orchestra? Woodwinds, brass, string, and percussion. Yeah, there's 4. And we call these instrument families. Everybody say instrument families. Good. So you need to know the orchestra. This lesson is about the orchestra. Imagine that. You need to know a conductor. Say conductor. Yeah, a conductor leads the ensemble, but in this case, they lead the orchestra. And they keep the time, and really the musicians follow the conductor. Good. And last one, band. Everybody say band. A band is another performing ensemble that has a conductor, but there's one difference. What's the difference? An orchestra has woodwinds, brass, strings, and percussion. A band is a performing group with winds, brass, and percussion. So what's the difference? The difference is there are no strings. Can you get that? Good. All right, let's keep moving. So there are many instruments in the orchestra. They are broken into 4 instrument families. So how many instrument families are there? Good. Great. There's 4 instrument families. They are the strings. Everybody say strings. Woodwinds. Say woodwinds. Brass and percussion. Okay. So we have our strings family, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. We're going to learn about these instrument families today. Before I start this video, I want you guys to do something. Open your notebooks up to your journal section. Turn to the journal section of your notebook. It's in the middle of your notebook. It should be right in front of the art section. Yeah, let's go. Right in front of the art section. I want you to find a clean sheet of paper and write this, instrument families at the top. So there's 4 instrument families. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do this. Well, maybe about 30 seconds. At the top of your paper, I want you to write strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. And then draw a line straight down, splitting the page, and then draw a line in the middle of the page so we have 4 boxes. Do your best. Do it right now. Go. Strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Copy quickly, quickly, quickly. Strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Let's go, boy. Strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Good. You should be done. Give me a thumbs up if you're done. If there's a substitute, if they need a couple more seconds, you can pause the video right now and let them finish writing that, but you should be done. Okay, let's move on. So like I said, there's one major difference between an orchestra and a band. Basically, and this is the biggest thing, the orchestra has string instruments. So many string instruments. Yeah, an orchestra has string instruments. We give them a thumbs up. The band does not. Give them a thumbs down. Well, the band is still wonderful, but there's just no strings. Show me like this, no string instruments. Orchestra, string instruments, move like the string instruments. A band, no string instruments. Got it? Great. So we're going to watch a little video. We're going to watch a little bit video. George is going to meet the orchestra. Everybody say orchestra. Good. So while you're watching, I want you to write down the different types of instruments in each family. So we have strings. How many instruments are in the family? You could do a little number, put a number there, and then so on and so forth. Woodwinds, how many? And try to name as many percussion instruments as you can as we're going along. Also, while you're watching, we already know this, how many instrument families are there? You should be able to tell me right now. In the video, what instrument did George choose as his performing instrument? And then we'll talk at the very end. What's your favorite instrument? All right, guys, let's watch George Meets the Orchestra. I'm gonna put this on full blast.
Hi, my name's George, and today we're going to meet the Sydney Youth Orchestra. Orchestra! Wait a minute, what is an orchestra? Let's find out. An orchestra is a group of musicians that play instruments together. It sounds like this. I really want to learn an instrument, but I'm not sure which one. This is Brian Buggy. He's the conductor. Hi, Brian. What does the conductor do?
Well, a conductor keeps all of these musicians in time and in tune. It's quite a job.
And how do you do that?
Well, you use your hands, you wave them around in a particular pattern, and if you really need it, you use the conductor's baton. That's a stick. Would you like to hear how it works?
Yes, please. There's a lot of people in this orchestra.
There are lots in this orchestra, and the Sydney Youth Orchestra has got 14 groups about this size, from people your age right up to these people and a little bit bigger. Something for every member of the family.
There are lots of different instruments in the orchestra, like lots and lots and lots. It's ridiculous how many there are. Violins and clarinets, and trombones and xylophones. Each instrument belongs to a section, or family in the orchestra. There are 4 families all together. The first family is the strings. What are the instruments in the string section?
Well, George, we have 4 types of strings instruments, including the violin, viola, cello, and double bass.
Did you hear that? She just said the 4. You got to be fast. We'll talk about it in a bit, though. Just keep watching, write what you can.
How do you play your instruments?
You can play instruments by plucking or bowing. We can play high notes like this and low notes. Would you like to have a go? So put your head under there. That's very good.
Yikes.
The next family is the Woodwinds. What is a woodwind instrument?
Well, George, this is an oboe, and we also have a clarinet and a flute. And in an orchestra, we have a bassoon as well. And the difference between us and string instruments is that you blow into it to make a sound.
And how do you play them?
Well, for the oboe, clarinet, and bassoon, you have a reed which you blow into, and the 2 pieces of cane will blow together to make a sound like this. And then when you put it into the instrument, good dancing, George.
Next, we have the brass section. You're the noisy section.
That's right. We do make a lot of noise, but we can also play really quietly as well.
What are the brass instruments?
Well, as the name suggests, they're made of brass, and they come in all different shapes and sizes, like the ones behind us here.
How do you play your instrument?
Well, each brass instrument comes with one of these mouthpieces. You blow on it like this,
Pew.
and then sound comes out the end. Do you
Yeah.
want to try? Yeah, I've got that. That's it.
Oh, boy.
Come on. Do you want to hear
Pew.
us play it
Stinky.
together?
Yeah.
Ready, guys?
Wow. The 4th family of the orchestra is percussion.
Percussion.
Your section has lots of different instruments.
That's right. The percussion section is a very big family. To make them percussion, you either have to hit, or scrape, or shake to make a noise. Some sounds can be soft and beautiful, like glockenspiel, or some can be loud and booming, like a timpani.
Bang.
Hey, George, do you want to have a go?
Yes, please. Percussion's fun.
All right, relax, George.
So, George, did you decide what instrument you want to play?
I think I have, though it's not an instrument.
It's not an instrument. What is it?
I want to be a conductor.
All right, here we go. You can have this, and you can conduct the Sydney Youth Orchestra Philharmonic. Here we go. And
Nice try, George. All right, guys. So, what'd you think? Turn to someone and tell them what you thought about that video. Don't yell and scream, but let them know what you thought. Well, actually, here's what I want you to do. You talk to them about what you thought. What was George's favorite? What instrument did George choose? And what's your favorite instrument? Stay in your seats. Just turn to someone that's close to you, but stay right where you are. Ready? Go. Don't get too loud. What was your favorite instrument and why? And what instrument did George choose? Clap for it. All right, that's enough. So what instrument did George choose? He chose to be the conductor. So he wanted to be the leader. Now, instrument-wise, we'll talk about that later. My favorite instruments are the trumpet, because I grew up playing the trumpet, and hand percussion, because I'm also a hand percussionist. Let's talk very quickly, guys, about the different instruments in the orchestra. Before you guys wrote, before we started the video, you wrote down the 4 different instrument families. Now, I want you to take the time to fill in those instrument families as we go along, okay? Let's begin. First, we have the strings family. Say the strings family. Good. The strings family is the largest family of the orchestra. There's 4 different types of strings, types of instruments in the family, and each of those instruments have 4 strings. They can be bowed with a bow, or they can be plucked. So we have the violin, say violin, viola, cello, and string bass. Write that in the strings family as you listen. Here's the violin. Okay, here's the viola. Okay, mind your business. Here's the cello. Okay, and finally, the string bass. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pick those musical examples, but you get the idea. So also, ladies and gentlemen, remember the rule. The rule is the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. The smaller the instrument, the higher the sound. So we have the violin, everyone say violin, viola, say viola, cello, and string bass. Looking at these instruments, which one would be the lowest pitched? Don't shout out, don't call out, just think about it. It'd be the string bass. Why? Think about it or write it down. Because it's the largest. So which one would be the highest pitched? It would be the violin, because it is the smallest. So the smaller the instrument, the higher the pitch, not the louder, but the higher the pitch. The bigger the instrument, the lower the pitch. Okay, great, let's move on. So we have the woodwind family. Everybody say woodwind family. Good. The woodwind family, all the members of the family were once made of wood. Most use reeds, which is a wooden stick, and air to create the vibrations. We'll talk more about vibrations a little later in the 4th grade. We'll just keep it basic for today. But all sound is created through vibrations. The woodwinds use air and reeds to make those vibrations. These are the woodwinds instruments. We have the flute. Everybody say flute. Write down flute, clarinet, oboe, and bassoon. I'll give you a few minutes to copy those or to write down those instruments. Come on, hurry up. Give me a thumbs up if you're done. Good. If they need more time, you can stop the video. Great. If you look right here, that's a reed. Everybody say reed. The reed is a small piece of wood that sits on the mouthpiece. And when the performer blows through, there's vibrations. The flute is the only instrument that doesn't use a reed, but it used to be made of wood years and years and years ago, decades ago, if not centuries. But now you blow it like you would blow over a bottle. I stunk at the flute, so it didn't work. But that's the same concept, all right? Here's my favorite family, one of my 2. It's the brass. Everyone say brass family. So in your boxes, write down the instruments to the brass family. There's 4 members of the brass family. Each is a common ancestor. The common ancestor is the animal horn. So back before there were brass instruments, people, cut off the horns of an animal and blew in it. Yeah. And they're played with buzzing and lip vibrations. So you blow your air through your lips, or what we call embouchure, and it buzzes or vibrates. Listen, I am a trumpet player. Pew, stinky. Okay. These are the different brass instruments. We have the trumpet. Everybody say trumpet. That's a beauty. Trombone, French horn, and tuba. Let's do this. Since I want to group them according to their sound, let's move this very quickly. Good. The same rules apply. The bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. The smaller the instrument, the higher the sound. So looking at this, which instrument would be the highest? It would be the trumpet. Everybody say trumpet. Yep. One day I'll bring my trumpet in when COVID's all done. And the largest would be the tuba. So we have trumpet, French horn, trombone, and tuba. Okay, get writing. Good. Lastly, we have the percussion. Everyone say percussion family. Yes, let's get rid of that. Percussion family. Percussion can be pitched or unpitched. And the way you play a percussion instrument, you can strike it, shake it, scrape it. You can strike with hands, sticks, or other objects as well. So we have pitched percussion, like the xylophone or bells. We play xylophones in music class, which we'll be playing it pretty soon. And then we have a piano. Everybody say piano. Who plays the piano in class? Yeah, me. And then we have many, many, many unpitched instruments. These are a few from the orchestra. We have the cymbals, say cymbals. We have bongos, we have sleigh bells, we have timpani. There's so many instruments in the orchestra, unpitched percussion instruments, but they're performed by striking, shaking, or scraping them. Okay, any questions? So you should now have your instrument families filled out. And we'll go over this when I come back. So we have our strings family. Think about what instruments are in the strings family. Turn to your partner and double check with each other. Just talk softly. Ready? Go. How about the Woodwinds family? Double check with someone around you. Ready? Go. How about the brass family? Double check. And percussion family. Double check. Great. We've got one more video. This puts all the instruments together in one story that one good music teacher friend of mine loves, and she let me borrow. It's called Zinzin, a violin. Let's watch Zinzin and the instruments in the orchestra, baby.
Zin, 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 a violin with mournful moan and silken tone. Itself alone comes one trombone, gliding, sliding, high notes go low. One trombone is playing so low. Next, a trumpet comes along and sings and stings its swinging song. It joins trombone, no more alone. And one and two.
Sit up, dude.
They're a duo. Fine French horn, its valves all oiled. Bright and brassy, loops all coiled. Golden yellow joins its fellows. Two, now three-o. What a trio. Now a mellow friend, the cello. Neck extended, bows a hello. In pin set upon the floor, it makes up a quartet. That's four. And soaring high and moving in with zin, 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 a violin. Stroking strings that come alive. Now quintet. Let's count them. 5. Flute that sends our soul a shiver. Flute, that slender silver sliver. A place among the set it picks to make a young sextet. That's 6. With steely keys that softly click, its breezy notes so darkly slick. A sleek, black, woody clarinet is number 7 now, septet. Gleeful, bleating, sobbing, pleading, through its throbbing double reading, oboe, please don't hesitate. Come, make it an octet. That's 8. That lazy clown, the big bassoon. He plays low down. We're laughing
lazy
soon.
and a clown.
Here, Grumpy, get your place in line and give us a nonette. That's 9. The harp descends with angels' wings, a heaven's blend through magic strings. And when it joins the others, then, behold, a chain
Pitched
group
percussion.
of 10. The orchestra comes in the hall. They're on the stage. We see them all. The cello, harp, and clarinet. The trumpet, whom we've also met. The oboe, flute, and big bassoon, all eager to get started soon. Trombone, French horn, and violin, all poised and ready. Now, begin. The strings all soar, the reeds implore, the brasses roar with notes galore. It's music that we all adore. It's what we go to concerts for. The minutes fly, the music ends, and so goodbye to our new friends. But when they've bowed and left the floor, if we clap loud and shout, encore, they may come out and play once more. And that would give us great delight before we say a late good night. The end.
All right, guys. You like that? Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Let's recap. So first things first, the goal was to be able to identify the different instruments in the orchestra, well, the instrument families and the instruments in each family. So we worked backwards. How many families are there in the orchestra? If you said 4, you're correct. They are the strings, say strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. And you should have all the instruments of each family written in your journal section. Percussion, there's so many. I just want you to make sure you have some instruments, but we also need to know there are instruments there's pitched percussion and unpitched percussion. What's the difference between an orchestra and a band? Uh-oh. A band has no strings, and an orchestra does have strings. Okay, and I want to know what your favorite instrument is when I come back. All right, guys, remember, there's the strings family, say strings family. It's the largest family. There's a violin, viola, cello, and string bass. We have the woodwinds, say woodwinds. Good. We have flute, clarinet, oboe, and bassoon, right? There's the brass. We have trumpet, French horn, trombone, and tuba. She's a big dog. And we have percussion. There's pitched and unpitched. There's xylophone, piano, harp, unpitched cymbals, bongos, sleigh bells, timpani, snare drum. There's so many different instruments. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this was our lesson for today. If there's no more time in your substitute, you need to stop the video now and have them leave. It's time to go. If there is more time, then we can take a little bit of time to practice our ostinato. Say ostinato. Good. So if there's no more time left in class, stop the video now. It's 30-minute class, and you guys get ready to go, and I will see you the next time. If there is time, let's do the ostinato. We have drip, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip. Keep going, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip, drop, drip, pitter. Keep saying it, drip, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip, drop, drip, pitter, patter, drip, drop. Keep going. I'm going to send this to the rain. Keep going, keep going. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain falling down, down. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to the wonderful sound. Good. Check this out. Drip, drop, drip. Pitter, patter, drip, drop, drip. Pitter, keep going. Drip, drop, drip. Say it loud. Pitter, pat. Keep going. Drip. Here I go. Here I go. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain falling down, down. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to that wonderful sound. Say it with me now. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain falling down, down. Listen to the rain. Listen to the rain. Listen to that wonderful sound. Give me that ostinato. Drip, drop, drip. Pitter, patter, 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 stop. Okay, that's all we have time for. When we come back, we're going to perform Listen to the Rain for the teachers. So do well, leave the class correctly, or get back to work with your teachers. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.